Oh man, the slaughter is finally over with. At least that's how I still feel after a 31-0 absolute ass kicking on Sunday. My name is Mitchell Renz. You're watching Overreaction Monday, and if you thought I was going to wake up today and not call out head coach Pete Carroll, then you don't know me very well. All I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be pointing the finger, and you're lucky it's this one, at Pete Carroll, at Chip Kelly, and at this flipping coaching staff, because this coaching staff is an absolute disgrace after everything that this entire team has dealt with. I feel terrible for Raider Nation. Raider fans deserve a lot more, and I thought by the firing and moving on from Josh McDaniels and Antonio Pierce that this clown show was over with. Unfortunately, though, it looks like the clown show is just now getting started. And what I'm going to talk about today are the top trending topics going on right now around the Raiders. Let's face the facts. When you're a team and you shit the bed as bad as what you did against your AFC West rival when the entire world is watching you, there's nothing that you could take from that game. The only thing that I can take away from that game is that the Las Vegas Raiders have quit on Pete Carroll, or the team that Pete Carroll and John Spytek put together is one of the worst football teams in the National Football League. And if you're a Raiders fan and you woke up this morning and you're like, hey man, all I want is honesty. I want someone to tell me exactly how it is. If you're frustrated like me, hit that subscribe button. If you want more from this football team, hit that subscribe button, because I understand that it's the bye week. But I am going to crank it up this week, because after that performance on Sunday, I don't even know if you can call it a performance, quite frankly. Apparently, I'm not being loud enough. Apparently, we're not angry enough. Well, guess what, Pete? Your wish is about to be my command. I can't wait to turn it up this week, because we're really going to crank it up. Guarantee that. So we're going to be talking about Overreaction Monday, and here are the three topics that I want to look at. The Raiders have quit on Pete Carroll and his staff. Is the Jakobi Meyers trade going to be coming? And Pete Carroll and his staff is failing. You could probably guess how I'm going to react to some of these from the jump, but let's go with the very first one. The Las Vegas Raiders have quit on Pete Carroll and this coaching staff. To me, I don't know how you say anything else besides believe it, baby. Because if you're going to look at me, Pete, and you're going to tell me that this team hasn't quit on you and that this team hasn't quit on this coaching staff, then what the hell were we doing all offseason trying to put together one of the worst Raiders football teams that I've seen in a long time? Because quite frankly, this team has gotten worse every single week, and there is not a single player, maybe outside of the name of Trey Tucker, that I could think of and say, well, I actually think that guy got better under the tutelage of Pete Carroll. But here, let's go through why I believe the Raiders have quit. The 31-0 blowout against the Kansas City Chiefs, you could sit here and go, oh, Mitch, it's a 31-0 blowout. But when you really sit back and you think about the game from start to finish, I mean, the Chiefs could have blown you out, I think, by 50 points. They put in Gardner Minshew in the third quarter because of how bad they felt. But when watching that game, it literally felt like a Division I top 25 football team up against a FCS weaker opponent. That shouldn't happen in the NFL. And when you look at these numbers here, Geno Smith was 10 of 16 for 67 yards. Ashton Jeanty, 6 carries, 21 yards. I mean, Kansas City did whatever they wanted to do on offense, on defense, on special teams. You had no answers. And what's even more frustrating is, Pete Carroll, you got to go out, you got to get your quarterback. Chip Kelly, you're the highest paid OC in the NFL. And this offense is, I actually think, the worst offense in the NFL. I'll say it. I think it's the worst offense in the NFL. Look at this display of just pure disgustingness by the silver and black offense yesterday. First drive, punt. Second drive, punt. Third drive, wow, another punt. Fourth drive, well, luckily it was the end of the half. But hey, fifth drive, another punt. Sixth drive, turnover on downs. Seventh drive, punt. Eighth drive, fumble. Ninth drive, punt. End of the game. You want to talk about putting somebody out of their misery? I don't know if y'all saw the thumbnail, but I remember a commercial when I was growing up, and it was Life Alert, and it was all senior citizens should have Life Alert. Right now, I think Pete Carroll needs to have life alert on that sideline. I think Chip Kelly needs to have life alert on the sidelines because their coaching and what they're doing is back in the Stone Age. Teams are running laps around us, and they're laughing in our face because of how outdated our entire team is from top to bottom. But you know what? Let's look at an offense that was a well-oiled machine yesterday. The Kansas City Chiefs. And again, if you just box score, you don't really truly understand how bad that game was. But you want to talk about total domination. Like, it was, you couldn't stop Kansas City. This is every drive with Patrick Mahomes, by the way. This is 3 quarters, okay? 9 plays, 17 plays, 16 plays, 11 plays. And then 9 plays, 66 yards, you ended up getting a field goal. You couldn't do anything on offense. You couldn't do anything on defense. And if you agree with this statement that I'm about to make, I hope you click this like button because I honestly believe it is either that the Raiders have given up on Pete Carroll, and I was told by a very good source, probably the best source, that Pete Carroll, no matter what, will not get fired this season. Pete Carroll deserves to be fired. Pete Carroll deserves to lose this entire team. Pete Carroll, I don't know how there is a single player that when Pete Carroll and this coaching staff open up their mouth, I don't know how anybody listens to him because I'll tell you this right now, I am done listening to Pete. I am done hearing a bunch of coaches say a bunch of words that have absolutely positively no meaning behind them. If you're a student and you're going to a Pete Carroll class, I would honestly consider going to a different student or going to a different class because I don't know how the hell you're learning anything. It's a lot of words and there's nothing to back it up because I look at this team and I go, either this football team has quit on Pete Carroll and a statement like that in a Week 7 game is a very, very loud statement, or the team that you assembled smells worse than probably my grundle if I don't use Mando. Shout out to our sponsor, Mando. Let's go to the next reason here why I think that the Las Vegas Raiders have given up on Pete Carroll and have honestly given up on this entire coaching staff. Let's talk about the locker room frustration. When you see things happen, and I always say where there's smoke, there's fire, we have to be able to realize the fact that there is legit fire around this team, the players, giving up on its coaching staff. Jamal Adams said it just 2 weeks ago. He didn't exactly say that there were frustrations boiling in that locker room, but he did say it, and there's quotes out there where you can go look at it. I also had a source reach out to me. I did an entire video right before the Germaine Pratt situation going, hey, man, there's some serious frustration going on right now inside of that locker room with this coaching staff. Offense, defense, from top to bottom, there's a lot of players that do not believe. One of the players that did not believe, Germaine Pratt. Germaine Pratt was our best linebacker, and now what you're seeing is a issue because our best coverage linebacker can't go out there. Landon Roberts, Devin White, they can't cover to save their lives, but they're Pete Carroll guys, so they don't get benched. They don't have anything. Look at the body language on those dudes out there on the field. Look at the body language in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. Look at the body language of Ashton Jeanty, of Maxx Crosby, of all of our star players after a game. Look at Geno Smith. And Geno's going to go up to the podium, and he's just going to say whatever he's got to say to be able to get by until the next game. But at some point, actions speak louder than words. And I sit up here, and I'm like spinning my wheels over and over again because are we right back to where we were with Josh McDaniels? Every single week you watch this team, we get worse and worse and worse and worse. And I don't even know how it's humanly possible. How are we this bad of a football team when we had all the amount of money we did in salary cap this offseason, 11 total draft picks? I have followed this team for a long time, and this team is completely lost. And I don't know if I've ever seen this Raiders team as lost as what they are, and the reason they are lost is because you hired a 74-year-old head coach that, I'm sorry, it's time to hang it up, Pete. And I know Pete's not going to do that. I know the Raiders aren't going to move off from him. But I don't know how you look at the Las Vegas Raiders in the year 2025, and I don't know how the hell you don't sit here and go, I think Pete Carroll's doing a good job. I don't know how, as a Raiders fan, you sit up here and go, I want Pete Carroll to be the head coach. I don't. I'll say it. I don't want Pete Carroll to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders because he's an absolute joke from what I have seen this season. The final reason is Jakobi Meyers sitting out. I don't give a shit what the Raiders are going to tell me. They could tell me it's a knee injury. They could tell me it's a foot injury. I'm going to tell you this. I don't believe a single word that comes out of that team right now. I don't. You could sit there and they could tell me, Mitch, the sky's blue and the world's round. I would instantly think that the world is flat, and I would think that the sky is green. I don't know. I wouldn't believe anything that they tell me. And I say that because think about the player and human being Jakobi Meyers is. He has done everything right this entire offseason. He has done everything that this organization has asked him to do. And then he started sitting out after practice. And once the trade rumors started rolling, Jakobi said, I'm not going to do it. The Raiders could tell me that it's an injury. Jakobi can say it's an injury. I'll say it like this. Jakobi Meyers and the Las Vegas Raiders have quit on Pete Carroll. Coming up next here on the show, we got more hot takes. Before I get into that, though, I do want to ask you guys a question, and I get it. Like I'm saying over and over that I think that the Raiders have quit, and I do. Like I'm being honest with y'all. And if you're just as frustrated as I am, I hope that you tune in later on today. We're going to be live on the Raiders Report starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to vent just a little bit more. This will be the pinned comment, though, on today's show. Have the Raiders quit on Pete Carroll and this staff? Type quit if you think that they've quit. If you think that they're still competing, that's cute of you. Type compete down below. If you type compete down below, oh, man, I feel bad for you. I really do. And I told myself today that no matter what, I'm going to have a good day. Why? The Raiders will not ruin my Sundays anymore. If Pete Carroll and this coaching staff aren't going to give a flying flip, well, then I don't know if I'm going to give a flying flip about what they do. What I am going to care about, though, is Raider Nation. What I am going to care about is continuously trying to put together a good product here on the Raiders Report. And I will never quit. And I hope that Raider Nation understands that. And I hope Raider Nation never quits on us here either, because all we have right now is each other, because I do not have any faith whatsoever in this team to figure it out after the bye, because if I've learned anything, the more time you get with Pete Carroll and this Raiders coaching staff, the worse that you're going to get, because they've gotten worse every single week. And this is why I think the Raiders have quit. You look at the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at the biggest game of the year against the Indianapolis Colts. You look at all the games where we were sitting up here going, it's a statement game. Every time it's been a statement game, you've got your shit pushed in. There's locker room frustrations. Players are unhappy. The body language sucks. And now you got your best players sitting out. Why? It's everything you did, Pete Carroll. Congratulations. We're in this situation because you put us here. Let's go to the next one here. Jakobi Meyers. Is a trade coming? The NFL trade deadline is right around the corner. And I'm going to give you my answer because I'll tell you this. I think it could happen today. I think it could happen tomorrow, and I do think a Jakobi Meyers trade is coming. We'll get in more of this here in just a little bit. Before I do, though, fall is here. And if you stink as bad as the Raiders do, well, then you need to get started with our sponsor, Mando. Crisp Air, I love this time of the year. My favorite time of the year is usually football season. Unfortunately, though, the Raiders have kind of ruined my love for football, which kind of makes me feel like I should probably take my wife out on some extra date nights. And I have found that it doesn't matter as much as how you look. It's actually more important based on the way that you smell. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code CHAT at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Now, I love it because it's got that clinical strength sweat control. One swipe and you're good to go. This isn't your typical deodorant. It's clinical strength, 2 times better at controlling sweat than the standard. It controls both sweat and odor for 72 hours, and after just 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by 92%. I'm telling you right now, this stuff works. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice. Think of it like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes and free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code CHAT at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. That's shopmando.com. Please support the Raiders Report. Tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered. Protect your pits. Smell great doing it. And if you guys want to see, I do have Mando's Invisible Cream deodorant, which I do love. And I'll say this, for me, I'm a Raider fan. I wear a lot of black clothing. If I'm going to wear the amount of black clothing that I do, I don't want to get like those awkward stains. This is the deodorant that I like to use. It is Pro Sport for pits, packages, and feet. It's an invisible cream deodorant. It's 3 ounces, so I also can use this when I travel to Las Vegas, when I travel anywhere. I love Mando. I'll also say this. These are my ball wipes. If that's too much information, I know. I have sweaty balls from time to time. I trust Mando with my sweaty balls, and I wish I could just cover the entire Raiders team. I'm not kidding you. I wish I could get the entire Raiders team and just squeeze a whole bunch of Mando all over all of them, because they flippin' stink. That link's down in the comments. It's down in the description of today's show. Let's keep this thing moving, because Jakobi Meyers, the trade, it's coming. This is not an overreaction. This is for Just Win Babies. Believe it, baby. I'm telling y'all right now. I did a video earlier this week. It was on Wednesday, I believe. Hell, it might have been Tuesday. My days are kind of bleeding together at this point, and it's blood. There's a lot of blood here in the nation. I did a video saying that I don't think that Jakobi Meyers ever plays again for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I had some people, kind of get mad at me for that statement earlier in the week. And then once Jakobi practiced on Friday, a lot of people were like, oh, Mitch, it looks like he's going to play. For Jakobi Meyers, he could have played this game. I don't care what anybody tells me. He could have played because he practiced on Friday. For him not to be able to go, it's because he wants to get traded. So why I believe Jakobi is done in LV, first reason, he missed Week 7 against Kansas City. For a player that has always been at practice, for a player that has always done right, I think even him, he's like, dude, I don't know what else I possibly can do at this point. For Jakobi to give up, I think it is really, really speaks volumes on how many other players have given up. Because Jakobi wouldn't do that if other guys didn't give up. Jakobi gave up on the Raiders because, as you saw against Kansas City, the Raiders have given up on Pete Carroll. Let's go to the next reason why his time is done in LV. There's multiple teams that are interested. I know the Giants have called. I think the Patriots have called, which actually Jakobi Meyers doesn't even follow the Raiders on Instagram. He only follows the New England Patriots, which I do find to be kind of interesting. But because multiple teams are interested, he's gone. Like, every team knows that he don't want to be there anymore, which actually hurts the Raiders' ability, I think, to be able to get more draft capital for him. If you're the Raiders, what you're hoping for right now is that there's a bidding war. And I don't really know when or if there's going to be a bidding war. Let's go to the Ricky Report. If you don't know what the Ricky Report is, last week, Ricky Scoop, somebody who's gotten a lot of big-time breaking news stories accurate, literally came back from the dead, reactivated his Twitter account. First tweet he puts out there was all around, Jakobi getting traded. And unfortunately, Jakobi then sits out of practice. There's multiple teams then calling the Raiders. The whole situation is there's a lot of where there's smoke, there's fire going on right now. And I just think he misses the game. Multiple teams interested. The Ricky Report, let's keep it moving here, of why I think Jakobi's done. Now you got a bye week coming up, and if you're the Raiders, you're going to be sellers. I know there were some reports about the Silver and Black potentially looking for a corner, potentially looking for a defensive tackle. If they do that, it's going to be a Pete Carroll guy. Doesn't really help out your offense. But for Jakobi, this is the week where you can do it. The Raiders are on their bye. Now your agent's going to be able to go out and find more people right before the November 4th NFL trade deadline. And the timing here is very interesting because you have your Week 8 bye. The Raiders play a game November 2nd. They also play a game November 6th. And I think if you're the Silver and Black, you already have to be able to prepare and plan that you're not going to have Jakobi November 2nd. You're obviously not going to have Jakobi November 6th. And then the final one here is he's already requested a trade. He's already requested a new contract. The Raiders have made it very, very clear to him that that's not going to happen. And I do think that with the Raiders being as bad as they are and with the players losing hope in this staff the way that they have, I think Jakobi Meyers has said, man, I've done everything I possibly can. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my career with the Las Vegas Raiders as long as they're going to be run by Pete Carroll. So will Jakobi Meyers play another game with the Silver and Black? Give me a yes. Give me a no down below. I have already made my statement very clear on this. I do not think that Jakobi Meyers will play another game for the Raiders. But if you want to sit up here and you want to say, Mitch, I believe that he will. All right. I'll just say you can roll with that statement. But I unfortunately disagree with it. So we have one more topic to get in here to Overreaction Monday. Before I do, though, I want to give a huge, and I mean a huge, huge shout out to Wild 114 for being a legend yesterday. My guy was in studio I'll tell you this, we have an unbelievable story. I will share it with all y'all when we go live a little bit later today at 1 p.m. Eastern time of what happened to Wild One and I, and I'm embarrassed to even talk about it. But Wild One was here in the building, end up winning the signed Howie Long jersey for being the MVP. But Wild One, I had so much fun hanging out with you yesterday, dude. I had so much fun, just getting down, getting wild. I wish the game would have gone a little bit better. I think we all would have wished the game would have gone better. But from my bottom of my heart, and I think for all of Raider Nation, thanks for doing your best to make the show fun yesterday. Also, special shout out to 93 Nabman and Kristen, the message that we got from Brandon Jasper's significant other. That one also hit really home. That was a very, very special moment. Let's go to the final story here, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Pete Carroll and this coaching staff is failing. And this is another believe it, baby. And I say that they are failing, and I will go into more detail in the video that I do a little bit later on today. And I'll just leave it like this. I put out a poll on Twitter, and it's being updated as we speak. It's going to continuously update. If you want to see the results on it, give me a follow at Mitchell Renz 365. But I asked Raider Nation, who's the best head coach out of these three head coaches for the Raiders? And Pete Carroll is in last place, okay? And I know that there's a lot of frustration after a loss to the Chiefs, but it's not only the Chiefs game, right? It's let's look at the sample size. Let's look at what this team has done from the moment they've hired Pete Carroll to where we are right now. It is a worse job than Josh McDaniels and that regime. It is a worse job than Antonio Pierce and the Tom Telesco regime. I cannot state this enough, that this Pete Carroll and John Spytek regime is moving the Raiders further back than I ever thought humanly possible, and I do. I think that they are honestly failing worse than Josh McDaniels, Antonio Pierce, and I can't even believe I'm saying it. So before I get on out of here again, friendly reminder, I will be live here actually in about 2 hours from now, so if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I will be live later on today. Also, I will be live for Monday Night Football. I wasn't sure exactly what time to put on here. So essentially what's going to happen is there's the Monday night game. It's at, 7 p.m. Eastern time? Well, the plan tonight is we're going to go live for Buccaneers-Lions. I'll have my guy Reed. Chugs is going to be doing the late Texans game, so he won't be with us. So we're going to be live later on tonight, and we're going to cover the first Monday night game. It's going to be Buccaneers-Lions, but I'm also going to cover Game 6 of the ALCS, because if you're a Raiders fan, I want you to smile. I want you to have a good time, and even if the Raiders stink, this is the best time of the year in sports, and I'm going to have some fun tonight. And I hope if you're down in the dumps, you're down to have a little bit of fun with me. So today, we're going to be venting at 1 p.m. Eastern time. As soon as this show's over, pull up Monday night, let's have a little bit of fun. Then we reset tomorrow. Raiders live 4 p.m. Eastern time, and then Thursday Night Football, we're going to bring back the Four Loco, so make sure you're ready. It's going to be wild. I am sorry that I started this show off with so much emotion, but I want people to subscribe for the emotion. I'm a Raider fan that puts his pants on the exact same way that a lot of y'all do, and I'm a frustrated Raider fan that expects more. I'm also a frustrated fan that thought that we were going to be moving in the right direction, and I know that I was never talented enough to play in the NFL, but I do think this. I expect people to not quit. I expect people to give 110%. And what's concerning is you got a head coach scream and compete, and this team has never done the lowest. I mean, if you got a head coach that screams compete, and that's his mantra, and this is the result you're getting, I think that is the definition of the Las Vegas Raiders have given up on Pete Carroll and this coaching staff.